Well, welcome back to another Nature's Glory Cabin Off-Road. Today we're doing Spas Creek and Pumpkin Hollow. We recorded this on November 24th, 23, and this is just a quick highlights. And we're going to show you here how we went. We started off at the Slade Rest area, went down Highway 11 to 613 and across. And your GPS, your Google Maps will take you right to the beginning of the trail on Spas Creek. Then we loop back 713 to Pumpkin Hollow. This is the standard way most people go.
Sounds good. We're in no hurry, just enjoying nature.
And we're going to travel through here. We're going to show just the highlights, and we're going to see how this works out. Got a lot of rear camera action. Got some camcorder action in this. We're riding with one of our folks that have become a friend. They've started off as a YouTube follower, and they've become what we call a YouTube friend now. We've done a couple of rides. So we're just going to show the highlights here. We're going to get through this pretty quick. It takes about 45 minutes if you don't stop. You're going to see here, this is the first, I guess you call it obstacle. We're going to drop over this little rise here into a mud hole. It wasn't very full on this day. Gotta watch these logs. People have been putting logs in here, I guess, for traction. But they kind of get in your way a little bit. So we're going to show this from the left front wheel vantage point and the rear, and some camcorder footage for both of us. And you can see there, it's not very deep. It's about halfway up the tire. That's a 33-inch tire. I sped this up a little bit, about 50% faster to kind of get you through it so it doesn't look so boring. We were only going 2 or 3 miles an hour most of the time. There it is from behind, and here's some camcorder video. That's me coming through there. Here comes Jeremy and his Rubicon on 35s, no lift, stock otherwise.
Or you can go under the tree if you want, but I prefer to go up it.
Yeah, let's go up the hill.
And here we go. We're going to go up and around. You can go under it pretty easily. Gladiators fit under that tree. A lot of folks go under it. This isn't that difficult. The hardest part is actually on the other side going down. It's a pretty sharp drop off. I've seen people leave pieces of bumper. So you have to be in the right position to go down the other side. There's a little stump right here, but you can clear it if you go over it. And over on the other side of the tree here, you want to go as far left as you can because there's a pretty steep drop off on some roots on your right rear. And depending on how much clearance you have, you could hit a bumper there. There's some camcorder video of coming up it. And here it is going down on the other side. You can see I'm a little further over. I'm on the route. I have enough clearance. I don't hit anything. I've seen Tacomas lose part of their plastic corner of their bumper there before, and staying as far to your left, your driver's side, will alleviate most of that. Longer vehicles have more trouble than shorter ones. And depending on your overhang on the rear as well. And just more angles of that same obstacle. And the rear camera on my Jeep to kind of show you that drop off a little closer. And another creek crossing. This one's pretty smooth. You'll see a little jerk here and there. My wife takes pictures, and if you follow our Facebook page, you'll see pictures she takes. It's the same name as this channel, Nature's Glory Cabin. You actually cross this creek quite a few times back and forth. And here's a mud hole. You can go bypass it around to the right a little bit if you want to, but you still end up in it, maybe a little off camber as you get past that tree at the end there on the right. This one's a little deeper. And another one. We should see these from the rear in a minute. Don't forget to, don't go alone up in here. Trees fall all the time. I've had to pull trees out of the way on more than one occasion. And here we go, going down into that, like I was talking about a minute ago. And I carry a battery operated chainsaw with me. I've got recovery gear, and sometimes you just need help. You never know what's going to happen in the woods. This time of year, winter, you don't have a lot of traffic in here, so sometimes there won't have been somebody to clear the trail for you. You can see that's a little deeper. That's probably 24 inches deep. So you'll either have to turn around or try to get it out of the way yourself. There's a deep one. That went up a little higher, probably up the bumper pretty good. Just the one spot. Again, I sped this up a little bit. We were not driving this fast. And another, this one was fairly deep too. Well, I say fairly deep on my vehicle, my 33-inch tires and 3¼ lift. Depending on your equipment, it may be deeper or more shallow. And here that is from the left front wheel. You can see how deep it is. And the water's been down. We're starting to get more rain, but not a lot. A lot of these holes don't get but just so deep. They have outlets to where it runs off into the creek, and the creek runs alongside, so it doesn't have far to go. They have good solid bottoms, so you don't have to worry too much about it. It's a pretty rocky country. There it is from behind. We'll see Jeremy coming up and how he enters the water. And it's a little better depiction of how deep it is. He's on 35s. It's up to the bottom of his bumper. And this is a little decline here. Wife has quite a few pictures on the Facebook page of this. This is fairly steep, depending on your breakover angle. Longer vehicles, and especially those with steps, have a little bit of a problem here. I've seen steps dig into this. Now this is dirt. Hopefully it won't really hurt anything. You just take a little real estate with you. It's about a 4-foot drop. You can bypass around it and get a little off camber and go around it. Now we're going to go up, and I guess we're going to show this from behind first. You can see how tall it is. See how we nose down, and there's the depth. We have two more things left. We have what's called the chute. In heavy rainfall times, to the dead ahead there can be a nice waterfall. I've only seen it trickle. So this is the chute. It's kind of tight. If you're unsure of yourself, have somebody spot you through this so you don't hit rock on one side or the other. You should be able to just nose right up to it and climb right up. Most longer vehicles on 32-inch tires or left will drag something across that. Gladiators tend to catch shock mounts just slightly. We're both in two-door Jeeps with a pretty good breakover angle, so we don't have any trouble here. And this is the last mud hole. This one's got a fairly steep drop off. The water's not real high. I've had this go over my winch in the front when I've nosed into it before. It's not quite that deep right now, but it is slick and muddy right through here. Looks like I'm going to show that from the left front wheel. You can see how it noses down. It's about 2/3 of the way up the tire as you nose in, and then it shallows out as you drive out of it. And we should see that from the rear here in just a minute. And here we go in it from the rear. And there's Jeremy coming up behind. And we'll see him nose into it. Nice splash on the bumper. Just make sure you get extra mud. And now we're out to 713. We're going to make a left here and go to Pumpkin Hollow. It's only a mile or so down the road. And we're pulling into Pumpkin Hollow now. And again, I cut a lot out of this. The main obstacle here is the hill and a rock at the top of the hill. And that happens to be another YouTuber right there out here filming for his channel. We stopped and talked for a bit. They had new 37s on that Tundra and they were going to conquer it, which I heard they did. And here we go through. There's some rocks, some ruts. Been drier lately. I got up it a little easier than usual. There's a spot or two that my rear skid plate likes to rub, and it hasn't done it the last couple of times. Or it was so negligible I didn't notice it. Usually I see a rub spot behind me. Thinking about putting 35s on it. Tell me what you think. Now here's the hill. We're starting to go up. This can be slick and muddy. It's rocky. It's got a few rock shells. You have to negotiate, but take it easy. Come right up it. For the most part, you may need at least one locker. This can be pretty steep. Here we are climbing to the top. Saw me slide to the side there as I went over something. We get to the top up here. There's somebody in a SUV with stock tires that I guess they attempted to go down it. We never saw them again. I'm not sure how well they did. And you'll see them there. This is the last obstacle right here. This doesn't do it justice. This is a pretty good rock. It's pretty steep and you're going up. I might have even turned my front locker on there. I have limited slip in the rear. We spoke to them for a minute and they were on stock like little 29-inch tires, and I don't know whatever happened to them. Here's that coming up from behind. That mud is slick. This is considered the hard way, but also the correct way that we did these trails. You're supposed to do counterclockwise. People go both ways. Problem is, if you run into somebody and meet them, some places there's almost nowhere to get out of the way. That little place right through there is kind of an off-camber spot where you kind of get a little flexy. It's gotten a little rutted out more over time. And here's the steep part of the hill. You can see it's getting steeper here from behind better than we did from the front. Is that same stretch that we did from the front. Here in a minute we'll be getting up over the rock. Cut a little spot out there apparently. And once we get to the top, There's the rock right there. Jeremy's getting ready to come up it right now. See, I'm sitting there talking to the folks in the little stock SUV, little Toyota. I don't remember which one it was. We go down the other side. There's really not much now. They've graded the other side pretty smooth, and there isn't a whole lot. It's a little muddy and some little minor ruts and a little sloppy, but that's about it. And we're coming up on the final water hole there, that big rock, and we're out pretty much here now. So once you get past that spot, pretty much done. There are a few cabins at the end you'll see, and there's another shot of that rock. I guess I got that in there twice. And there's some cabins up here. There they are. You'll see them now. On the left are some A-frames. On the right there's a pretty good sized one. And once you get here, it's smooth sailing. There's no little creek crossing or two, but it's even. You can take it out of 4-wheel drive now and go back to 2 high and head on out. You're going to end up here on Upper Cane Creek Road, and then you're going to go Upper Cane Creek to 599, and depending on where you want to go from there, you're out of there. Thanks everybody for watching. Come back and watch more.